Crypto market and Bitcoin are crashing. Holy moly. Hey gang, my name is Mike with myrealestatedojo.com, and I've been a crypto uh, hater when it first came out, and when it was 2016 that I start changing my mind about Bitcoin, okay? And in the 2018, 2017 crash, I got into it heavily. And since then, I've now become a Bitcoin fanboy, if you want to call it, or crypto fanboy, because I learned about decentralization and the power of that. Now, today we're seeing 40%, 60% sell or crash of many of the coins out there. Okay. And me, for myself personally, not financial advice. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a CPA. I'm not an attorney. I'm none of that stuff. I'm just a regular guy. Actually, I'm a refugee to America that was able to start with $100 without bankers and be my dreams. And I ended up giving most of my stuff to the homeless. So coming back and trying to do it again, now, if you look at the fear index, which is something that in the crypto world that gauges the amount of fear, when there is no fear, everyone's on green, everyone's bullish. I usually don't buy cryptos at that time. But when the clicker hand flips over to bearish, where it's all red and fear is high up, that's usually when I start buying cryptocurrencies because, I like to do what the crowd doesn't want to do. If everyone goes right, I like to go left. It's just a simple rule that I apply. And usually it works for me. I can't tell you what to do. I don't want to tell you what to do. You can lose your shirt. You can lose your house. You can lose everything in cryptocurrencies because they're very unstable. And then they're the next level, in my opinion. They're probably going to be the future of everything from banking. For example, DeFi is trying to kill the banking system, so there is not a middleman where you and I can borrow money without going into a bank from a script or a software, right? A code, okay, and pay the lowest amount of fees, and the actual winners are the other crypto lenders that are just like me and you. They're willing to lend that Bitcoin or that Ethereum out, and they're getting an interest versus the bank. That's called DeFi. Okay, we're seeing digital real estate. Okay, like I brought to you guys when I got into Decentraland. I put it on my YouTube channel. It was 10 cents. And I tell everyone I got into it. Now, I didn't tell you what you should do. It's a very high risk. I don't recommend doing what I'm doing. This is just what I'm doing. But we saw Decentraland go past $4, $5. Again, remember, I got into it at 10 cents, so I cashed out. So now that I'm seeing at least a 50% in, for example, Decentraland, I am getting into it. I'm buying more. Believe that the market is going to crash more? Absolutely. There's a high probability to crash more. Okay. So why am I buying coins now? Well, I'm just investing. Let's say I want to put X amount of dollars into the market. I'm just buying a little now as the market goes down because there's a probability that it might not go all the way down to where I predict, right? And if I wait and don't use my ammunition, then it may never hit that. I'll miss that opportunity to buy at the sell price. For example, you guys know that I like Microtech knives, right? So usually a Microtech good knife is like $700, right? 750. So if I always buy this knife for 750, and then one day I get up and there's a sell on them for 350, I'm not gonna think the knife is bad. I'm gonna think, damn, I got a good bargain for getting it at 350 because normally I pay 750 for it. Okay, so I'm not gonna be like, oh, just because it's 350, it doesn't make sense anymore. It's a bad knife. No, sure, Microtech has their own problems, whatever, but I'm still would buy it because it would be, in my mind, a great price, half price. Same thing that's happening in the market now. There's a lot of cryptos like Bitcoin that I believe in, and just few months ago, it was at $69,000, right? Not only did I say it was worth, all these people around the world said it was worth that much, right? Now today is at $39,000 as I'm making this video. Well, to me, it seems like I'm buying it as a bargain, and that's why I bought some Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen, because I knew it was a bargain. On top of that, I bought a bunch of different stuff. For example, I bought some Decentraland, like I talked about to you guys, because I believe in that. Um, I bought some Compound, which is a decentralized lending platform, which is going to get away with go and borrow money from banks, and it's going to kill the banks, probability of killing the banks. And so I want to invest in that idea, in that freedom. So I bought some of that. Um, Another thing that I bought was called, uh, the Ethereum name servers, because Ethereum is going to create a non-stoppable domain name. Okay, what that means is, have you ever visited a website and it says this website's been taken down by the DEA or FBI or some other agency? Well, a decentralized name server means that no one's going to be able to delete or centralize or censor it, because that information is on many servers, which is perfect, beautiful, because that's what freedom is. Now, freedom means like you can believe in stuff that I don't agree with, but I just let you be. You can believe whatever you want because I'm free to believe what I want. You know what I mean? But if someone's going to regulate me in my belief system, they're more likely going to regulate you in your belief system, and that's not freedom, right? So I believe in that technology, decentralized name servers. If you don't know what a name server is for example, you have a website, there's an IP, and the name server just binds it on top of that IP, in a sense that so you can go like myrealestatedojo.com versus me saying go to my website at 19.2.36.4. You will never remember that, right? Where it's much easier to say go to myrealestatedojo.com. Okay, so that's another coin that I bought. I did buy into Bitcoin because, again, I like the idea of Bitcoin Cash and how the owner explains it. And I believe in that because, I believe that the title of the white paper for Bitcoin was peer-to-peer exchange. And big corporations have gotten into the actual Bitcoin, and they've changed the way it's supposed to work, and has made it very, very expensive to do transactions to create second layers. And I don't think that was the purpose of Bitcoin, because second layers are what we know in today as Visa, MasterCard, things like that. So we're going back into our old way of thinking versus a new way of thinking, which is peer to peer. So that's why I like Bitcoin Cash, and that's why I bought some Bitcoin Cash, because for example, if you want to send $1 in Ethereum right now, you're probably going to pay $25. I mean, a lot less now because it's crashing. But to send $1 in Ethereum, sometimes it's going to cost me $64. Sometimes it's going to cost me $20. Depends on how congested the network is. But to send $1, it doesn't make sense to pay $60, right? And same thing with Bitcoin. If I want to send $1 in Bitcoin, I'm going to have to pay 10 times more than the dollar just to send that. And that's what the Satoshi white paper was about. It was about peer-to-peer transactions, to eliminate second layers, to eliminate bankers, and to not have a settling layer where, Bitcoin Cash, I believe, is, a fork of Bitcoin, but I believe they're sticking to the story of the original Satoshi white paper, which is peer to peer. And I think that one day it has a possibility to flip the actual Bitcoin. So Bitcoin Cash, I think, has a possibility because more and more people realize that, dude, to send $1 is going to cost me $25 or $60 if I use the top two cryptos, Bitcoin or Ethereum. That doesn't make any sense. And when I can use Bitcoin Cash, I can send $1. It's going to cost me less than a penny, right? And it's going to be a lot faster to get there. So, that's why I believe in Bitcoin Cash. I could be totally wrong. I could lose my money. But I want to put, my money in my mouth in things that I believe truly. Not only am I going to make money, but it's revolutionary to be able to cut off the middleman and to have transactions where I can send my VAs in India money through just Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin, and they're going to get it in a matter of minutes, and it's going to cost them so much less than MoneyGram or Western Union. Okay, so that's power. Now, I did buy other coins as well. Let me talk about some of the other coins. I talked about Decentraland. I bought Bitcoin Cash. I did buy some Litecoin too, because that was just speculation because I honestly don't know what is the coin that's going to make it. I mean, Bitcoin is so far the best, but I believe that big corporation like BlockFi have came in there and created second layers for their own financial benefits and is harming the actual peer-to-peer user. So I bought some Litecoin, and that was more for speculation for just making quick bucks because there's only 19 million out there right now. And so, there's a high probability that when the market turns, I could make a quick, swing trade in a sense and get in, get out because of the low uh, supply of Litecoin. But, who knows if Litecoin could be the next Bitcoin? But I just don't think so. I think Bitcoin Cash has a better opportunity to be the next Bitcoin because Roger, I guess the guy that created that, forked it, is sticking by Satoshi's white paper about Bitcoin more than any of these other cats out there. Okay. Um, and I'm gonna go buy more coins as the market tanks, but I wanted to just share with you some of the coins that I bought. You should not go buy these, or you shouldn't. I don't want to tell you what you should do. Uh, you know, Cryptocurrency is a totally risky game, but in my opinion, I believe that they're going to be the future. I believe that we're not going to have stinky bankers. We're going to have decentralized lending. Okay, I believe that we're not going to have Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal. We're going to have peer-to-peer sending. Okay, that we're not going to have, Big Brother or other corporations be able to shut us up, for telling the truth because we're going to have decentralized 3.0 web, right? Where we're going to have decentralized servers. We're going to have decentralized name servers. We're going to have, decentralized money that no one owns because, I don't want to, for example, it's kind of like me buying a knife from one company and this company tells me, well, you can't go to X, Y, and Z places with this knife. I'm like, why? Because that's where Benchmade is, okay? Where, in the real world, I'll buy a knife, I can go anywhere with it, right? As long as the law allows it, I can go anywhere with it, okay? So it doesn't make sense to do that with, software or digital stuff where, Apple Store, if you buy something in there, you can only have it in their platform. If you want to go somewhere else, you can't take it with you, okay? So I think that the era of that type of thinking is over. We've already seen that open source is more powerful than closed sources like Windows operating system versus Linux, Unix, okay, or C++ versus PHP. Okay, we saw that PHP has already won. Open source has already won, and I believe that we're going to, in my opinion, we're going to see that more in finances. We're going to see more in contracts, like smart contracts. We're going to see that more in law. We're going to see that more in so many different things because having that middle people benefit from our misery or transactions just sucks, right? And so that's why I buy the coins that I do. It's not to only make money. That's part of it, but more into the ideas that I believe in, the kind of freedom that I want for my kids, where not a handful of corporations own everything. Not a few bankers rule the whole world. Not trying to send that money to your workers in different countries. You got to pay $30 for $100 you send them because the Western Union wants to make money and this guy wants to make money. It's like, dude, you know, and that's just like, I don't want to use a word for it that I'm thinking, so I'm just going to leave it alone. But here's why I got into cryptos because A, they're on sale. B, there's a lot of fear index is high, and then C that I believe that even if the market goes down and down and down, that I think that it's going to, it's a great time for me to enter and buy and keep buying as it goes down 50%, 60%, and even hold 4 to 5 years before the market comes up. Or there's a possibility the market can go up and the cycle pump hasn't really finished because now there's so much fear that it makes me want to get into it. Even though that I sold before the crash happened, majority of my cryptos, minus my Bitcoin holding, right? I'm never going to sell that. But all my shit coins were all sold, and I was totally out of the market because I see what was coming. But now that we having 40% sell, 60% sell on some coins, I'm motivated to get into it, even though that I believe that there's more bloody days coming, not in the stock market, but also in real estate, but also in cryptos. But this is a time for me to get into it because everyone's running out. Okay. And I love getting into it when everyone's running out. High risk by high reward. And there's no risk without reward, man. You can't if you're not willing to risk it, you're not gonna get the biscuit. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Click the like button. Don't take no for an answer. Much love.